This is data in the daily max column showing the maximum temperatures for each month, 1 through 12, in the Atlanta Fulton County airport area. I want to use this data to explain how to use Excel to come up with the numbers that you need for your box and whisker plot. They're generally called it's called the 5-number summary. So I've listed the column A here, which is the maximum temperatures for each month. And if we're going to do a box and whisker plot or a box plot, it consists of the 5 numbers. One is the minimum, and then we have the first quartile, Q1. We have the median of the data, the middle point of the data, Q3, which is the third quartile, and the maximum value. And the minimum and maximum, in this case, you could look at column A and just about pick them out. But I only have 12 pieces of data here, but you can imagine if I had 1,200 or 12,000 pieces of data, that would be difficult to do. So I want to show you how to use data analysis. You notice I have data highlighted here. You go over to the right, and if you downloaded data analysis, it's going to show right there. I'm going to explain how to use it if you don't know how to. And so we click on data analysis, and there's a number of tools here that you can use. We're going to use descriptive statistics. Say OK. And the first thing it wants to know is what is your input range? In other words, what data do you want data analysis to work on? So I shade that column A data. It shows up in the input range here. We want summary statistics. Make sure you click on that. OK. And that gives us this column of data showing the mean and the standard deviation and the variance and all the other stuff, all the other descriptive statistics, including the minimum, 53.1, the maximum, 89.5. Those are 2 of the data points we need, plus the median, 73.25. So what we can do is go back and put in the median, 73.25, right here. And we can put in the minimum, which is over here in sheet number 2. The minimum is down here, 53.1. 53.1. And the maximum was 89.5. Now, Q1 and Q3, the first quartile, Q1, is that data point that sits in a position such that 25% of the data is less than that and 75% of the data is more than that. It's also called the 25th percentile. Percentiles are based on 100s. And so if you bring your young baby to the pediatrician and the pediatrician says your baby's weight is in the 40th percentile of all babies that age, that means your baby's weight is more than 40% of the other children, but less than 60% of the other children. And Q3 is the 75th percentile. And so on an SAT score you get back says you recorded in the 82nd percentile. That means your score is higher than 82% of all the scores, but it's less than 18% of all the scores. So Q1 is the first quartile, Q3 is the third quartile. And the way we can do that is go to formulas here and go into statistics, which would be under more functions. And that will allow us to then find Q1 and Q3. Q1 and Q3. Let me see if I can get my, here we go. Here is more functions. let's see, statistical sometimes shows up here. Here it is right here, statistical, and here are all the functions you can use. You know, average, well, we already did that with our data analysis. We don't need to do that. But if you scroll down here, you will find quartiles. There's percentiles, you notice, and there's quartiles. There's quartiles. Returns the quartile of a data set based on percentile values, and this returns a quartile of a data set based on percentile values from point 1 exclusive. So let's use this one, and again, it wants to know the array, which is the data that we're going to use, and the quartile. You notice down below it says it's put in a 1 for the first quartile, so we're going to put in a 1, and it shows us that the first quartile is 62.3. 62.3. 62.3. Okay. Then, in order to do the third quartile, we're going to do the same thing. Click on the third quartile, look under more functions, statistical, go all the way down till we come to that quartile again. Go down till we come to Q for quartile, there it is. And we're going to put in a 3. I'm going to put in the array. We could put in a 3 for the third quartile. Yeah, okay, and it turns out to be 84.2, you notice, 84.2. I can enter that, it'll go in automatically. 84.2, okay. There. So those are the points we're going to use in our plot. And by the way, to do the box plot, all we have to do is go into Insert, Recommended Charts, and go into All Charts. You go right down here, Box and Whisker Plot, you notice. Box and Whisker Plot. But what we need to do, of course, is to first show the data that we're going to be using. Here we go. Now we're going to go into Insert, Recommended Charts, All Charts, down here to Box and Whisker Plot, and there it is. That shows in blue. If you let's say OK. You don't want to show it in blue, just hit this. And this gives you the box and whisker plot. You can click in here to put in axis titles and chart titles, and you could put grid lines in if you want. You could take those out. We don't really need those. Make sure you label your, when you do your discussion question, label the chart title and the axis titles. But here is the box and whisker plot that you need. Hope this was helpful. A fiducian, PurdueGlobal.edu.